poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video. I have been absolutely pumping these out because I feel like I haven't been doing series reviews, film reviews, and anime reviews justice. I feel like I haven't been doing them good enough. So I want to show you how good they can be, and I would like suggestions on what shows, movies, TV you would like me to watch in the future. To do a video like this on. But we are taking a look at South Park, and specifically South Park Season 26, because that is the new one that has come out, and I want to start doing the series and anime reviews based on seasons instead of the series as a whole, so then I can go more in depth and keep up with it like that as new seasons come out, instead of just doing the anime on a whole. So today's episode is going to be on South Park Season 26, and South Park has had a couple of problems over the years with episodes, and how many episodes are in each season. In Season 26, there is 6 episodes and 1 special, but I'll take a look at the specials in a completely different video where I'll talk about all the specials. But in Season 26, we have 6 episodes. Spring Break, Deep Learning, Japanese Toilets, The Worldwide Privacy Tour, Cupid Yi, and Dinkin Bao's Hot Dogs. So we are going to be taking a look at them in order, and in the first one, which is Dinkin Bao's Hot Dogs, I thought this one was really good. This one had a lot to do with the original boys, which a couple of other episodes haven't been fitting with. They sort of take a better look at some other side characters and sort of leaving the boys sort of in the background doing little side stories. But I'm glad they're going back to the boys and taking a better look and deep diving into their adventures again, because they are obviously what the main series is based around. And here is Cartman gets a job at an ice cream shop with Butters, and then with Butters' money, Eric takes control and builds his own little hot dog stand where he currently lives, because South Park is now introducing a continuous story. So Eric Cartman now lives in a hot dog, and he is sort of turning it into an actual shop, and then Butters is paying for all this stuff that Eric is doing, turning his house into an absolute fucking mansion with all these different slides, attractions, and stuff like that. And he does try and hire Kenny and Craig, and a baby at some point. Honestly, it is the staple of a South Park episode. It is funny, it has the boys, it's creative, it's wild, and it's pretty wacky as well. And I do like that episode. Moving on to Spring Break, which is the last episode in the season. This is where Mr. I don't remember his name here, but he turns back into Trump, and he goes back into his Trump mode. I didn't really like this episode. I thought it was quite boring. I felt like it was a bit of a cop-out for an episode, as he was going back to the Trump era of South Park, which is pretty boring anyway. And him being Trump again, it sort of forgot about the main boys with Kenny and Kyle and Cartman, and kept with this Trump sort of theme. I thought it was quite boring. I didn't really enjoy it. Obviously, with voice acting and animation, South Park has always had a constant, which is good in both of those areas. You can always feel the characters' emotions. You can feel the way they're conveying it, and the art style is pretty paper cut and quite good. It's its own unique style. We also have Cupid Yi, which is the second episode, which is about, it's a returning character. It is Cupid Yi, one of Cartman's little people floating above. It's like, what everyone thinks he's imaginary until at the end, and he keeps going on about it, and he does take over the school at some point, and it is quite a funny episode, again taking it back to the boys, taking it back to the original sort of theme of South Park, and it was a good one. It took more of a Cartman sort of storyline, and I did enjoy it. It is another one I enjoyed. The first 2 episodes were pretty solid, in my opinion. Animation has only improved for South Park. They're still keeping the original art style, but making it a lot cleaner cut and a lot more nicer than how it used to look. Obviously, as technology advances, it just looks a lot more rendered and better. I don't know how to fully explain it compared to how it was. But South Park seasons have been taking a little turn for the worst. In the past few seasons, where they sort of cut out 4 episodes for a special, which is to do with current times, and most of the specials have been to do with COVID. But my favorite episodes were the ones with the superheroes here, with Kenny being Mysterion, Cartman being the raccoon hero, Butters being Professor Chaos. Those episodes were always my favourite, and we haven't had one in a while, but I know they can't keep doing those episodes, and they're like a 3-episode thing. But yeah, ChatGTP was another one that was used in this, which is obviously South Park takes current projects and makes it their own. That's the unique thing about South Park. They take current subjects and make it their own, make it wild, make it wacky, make it funny. A lot of people don't like South Park for the rudeness and the offensive jokes, but I quite like it. It's quite funny. And some of the jokes I do question. Like, not all of them are funny. I do question, like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have done that, but it is still a good series on the whole. And it is starting to get back on track, focusing more on the boys again and getting them back together, because by the end of this season, Cartman is back living in South Park, and so is Stan. They are not on the weed farm anymore. This one was quite a boring episode. This was a Kyle-based episode, and he was constantly going on about the king. He kept going on about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and how they were trying to be private, and it was just a boring episode. It was just the Canadians just trying to be private, but then also wanting attention, and it was just the mixed messages that gave, and how much Kyle was getting annoyed by it. But I don't know, this was one of the more boring episodes. It was a lot better than the Trump one, the last one, but I still didn't really like this one, and I struggled to watch this one because it was quite boring. Not much really happened, and it wasn't really eventful, not really that funny either. Some of the jokes didn't really land. Japanese toilets was a really good one in my opinion. I thought that one was so funny. It was where Randy got a new toilet and everyone was talking about. It went back to the potty humour and the dirty humour that everyone liked from South Park, and how good Japanese toilets are, and how they're really nice with the bidets that spray your butt and clean your butt for you. They're just really good. If you've never used a bidet, I do suggest you invest in one. I want one. They are so good. You don't have to wipe. You just spray your asshole with water and boom, it's clean. But Japanese toilets play music and stuff, and it was just saying how better Japanese toilets are, and everyone was hating on Stan because how rich he was and how good he was for not using toilet paper, and they were like, hey, not all of us can afford a Japanese toilet, yada yada yada. And it just provides a little bit of conflict. There is always conflict in South Park episodes, and confusion, and sort of basically all revolves around comedy, and that is wonderful. But there is also some conflict between the characters, and that really adds to the series. There isn't really much tension that gets built in South Park, because it all comes crashing down in like a comedy effect, really. All the tension is built up for comedy purpose and to be eased out of the way. You don't get like high tension. It's just like, okay, this is gonna go bad for these characters, but they're gonna work it out in the end. You never, like, the stakes aren't really that high in South Park. But Deep Learning, the one about ChatGTP, apparently was written by ChatGTP as well, or part of it was, which I thought was quite interesting. And Cartman and Butters and Craig were using it for their essay assignments, and then the teacher was using it to mark them, and then they had people coming in to sort of be like, yo, who's using it, who's not? We have a tracker on who's using it. And Stan was also using it to chat to his girlfriend. And then he got himself into some deep stuff because he wasn't actually paying attention to the conversation with Wendy, the girlfriend, and he was just sort of copy and pasting into GTP so he could focus on other things and talk to her. And yeah, this one was a pretty strong episode. I liked this one. This one was like top 3 episodes out of the season. Again, just because of the conflict it caused and how funny it was, just to sort of see how deep of trouble you can get into if you do this, and how much it can really affect the people around you if you are using this on the sly and on the lowdown. So this one had like real consequences, and I thought it was cool how it was also partly written by ChatGTP, because then that adds in the effect of technology is also taking over and how scary that is. But overall, I thought the season was okay. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. I'm going to give it like a 7 out of 10, because it isn't mid, it's still a good season. 4 good episodes, 2 bad ones. So it is going to get a solid sort of 7 in my opinion. But it's just a generic South Park season, nothing too special happened. But everything is back to normal in South Park now. because by the end of this season, everything resets. Cartman instead are living back in South Park, buying their old houses back and living closer. So Wheat Integrity Farms, no more. Cartman living in a hot dog, no more. That only lasted for like, what, a season or a few. But yeah, overall, decent season, 7 out of 10. Other than that, bye-bye.